All right, today we're talking about how humans, just like most animals, are instinctively herd animals and how it's affecting your life. First off, though, let's understand what's a herd animal, how do herd animals work, why are we herd animals? Humans are herd animals because we survive better in a pack, we survive better in a herd. We got more resources, and if a predator pulls up on us, we're less likely to be the one to die because we're in a big crowd. But if you're an individual, if you're not a part of the herd, then your chances of survival are just lower. So because we know this, that must mean that we instinctively think, without us knowing, potentially knowing, we instinctively think that there is a high cost for being an individual and not being a part of the herd. And because we know this, that must also mean that humans are programmed to be a part of the herd, be a part of the pack, follow the crowd, be a sheep, one way or another, everyone. And if you don't think that you're just a herd animal, let me say this. If there was a big crowd of people running and screaming one way, you would instinctively start running this way. Start running the same way as the crowd. So, because your body is in herd mentality, your brain is also in herd mentality. Because it starts in the brain. Your brain analyzes instinctively. It says, this is what the crowd is doing. We need to do that in order to survive. We need to follow the crowd. And it's not until later on that your brain processes what's happening and your conscience catches up. And that's kind of the point I'm making here, is that a lot of you guys go through life without letting your conscience catch up. You're just instinctively reacting. You're not actually thinking. Start analyzing. Yeah, you're gonna have an initial reaction. Yeah, you're gonna have an initial thought, but start analyzing things in life. Don't just let things happen. A lot of you guys are just walking through life with a dimmed light bulb, a dimmed brain. Your brain needs to be on or off. Fully alert, fully asleep. It's the most efficient way to do things. You guys are just walking through life with a half turned on brain, not processing anything, letting people make decisions for you. You're constantly distracted, and you're not asking yourselves any questions. You're not asking, what am I doing? Is this right? Is this what I want? And this all comes down to, you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. I shouldn't even have to say this at this point, because everyone knows that. But why do you want your girlfriend not hanging around lazy and promiscuous women and being friends with them? Because their herd mentality is, well, let's just eat candy all day and go flirt with other men. Why do I want my crew to be a whole bunch of winners? Because I want to be held responsible for being a winner. You got to find the right crew. Imagine you were surrounded by a whole bunch of people doing good things, exercising, doing cool things, and getting their life together. It would be impossible not to do the same. Because everyone's doing all these things. You'll feel like you're behind, and you'll instinctively follow because we're herd animals. And this is kind of a random topic, kind of a topic switch. But I feel like people have almost redirected their life in terms of how they eat, slowly but surely. And it's happening more and more often. You'll see it in more people. The trend is getting bigger in how people eat and how people eat more healthy. Simply because of herd mentality. But I think people are going to look back on these times and think, how did these people eat these processed foods? It's clearly bad for you. That makes no sense. Why would they ever do it? But it all comes back to herd mentality. Look back on history. It's always been this way. Whether you're smoking a cigarette without research, without knowing what you're putting in your body, or whether it was Nazi Germany, World War II. Thousands of people chose to follow the crowd, not think for themselves, and thought, well, everyone else is doing it, so that must mean it's okay. And then thousands of innocents died because of it. And that's what I'm getting at here. It's easier to convince someone to do something by saying, hey, look, everyone else is doing it. It's easier to say that than to convince someone to do something by saying why you're doing it. It's easier to convince someone to do something by saying, hey, everyone else is doing this, than it is to convince someone to do something based off scientific facts. I'll give you another example. Before, fitness was for weirdos, at least from where I'm from. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts posting on social media, and all of a sudden it's cool. So people are herd animals. So if you got a cool idea and everyone craps on it, that's okay. It's in their programming. It's in everyone's programming now. So if it's in everyone's programming, do you not think that you're blindly following people without you knowing? Because if you ask me, the only reason that you eat like crap, the only reason you watch TV, the only reason you watch sports, the only reason you do nothing with your life is because everyone around you is doing the same. And it's impossible for you to say, no, I actually like my life. Because if Nazi Germany can convince thousands of people to kill innocents simply because everyone else was doing it, then how can you say that you're not blindly following people into doing things that you don't secretly want to do without you knowing? I'd say the chances of that are pretty high.